Prodigy was born with sickle cell anemia SS type, which is the worst. Sickle cell is a hereditary blood disorder. When your blood cells don't carry enough oxygen, the blood cells start to change shapes. They form a sickle shape. That's where the name comes from. When these cells lose oxygen, they interlock with one another, causes a chain reaction. And whatever part of the body this happens at, that's where the pain happens at. Prodigy and Havoc met at the High School of Art and Design in Manhattan in the late 1980s. In 1991, they became a duo that went by the Poetical Prophets. The group ditched the Poetical Prophets moniker after meeting with Puff Daddy, who recommended they change the name. They renamed the group Mobb Deep and eventually signed with 4th and B-Way Records. The spring of 1993, but the album had flopped, and they were dropped from the label. However, Mobb Deep landed a second chance when Loud Records picked him up in 1994. Steve Rifkin is not telling people, but at this time, the company owes money. They all the way in the red. And the reason they in the red is because they keep signing artists and giving out artists money, and they end up flopping because their promotion deals were pretty much just, let's just say it was trash. So Wu-Tang and Mobb Deep are the only ones on the label that's actually selling records. But it wasn't until 1999 when they released their third album, Murder Music. The album dropped and sold 3 million copies. A lot of people don't know this. They actually broke up for the first time during the Infamy album 0405. Littles had a message Prodigy sent them on Cut Master C True Story DVD. Littles and Alchemist had a fallout, and P took Alchemist's side and cut off Littles. That's when P said he's only going to work with Alchemist from then on. He went solo already in 01 to branch out, but in 04, they broke up for a short time. Havoc had a song on P Cutter's Street Wars Volume 11 called The Mobb Deep Breakup. Then they got back together soon after in 05 and released a song along with video titled Cobras. But the fallout between them still wasn't settled. They just got back together for money, because Steve Rifkin sold the company to Sony for $80 million, and they made more money together as a group. The breakup was never settled because the breakup was on some street shit. Prodigy was from Left Rag, then relocated to Hempstead. His grandmother's dance school was in Jamaica, Queens. He was only in QB because of Havoc. And the crazy thing about it is that Prodigy did more for QB than any nigga ever did from Queens. And a lot of Havoc's friends took advantage of P, and he shouldn't have been hanging out with them in the first place. Most of them hated P because he came from a good family, and they were always jealous, and P took a lot of blows for them, disloyal setups, etc. Prodigy was offered a deal already without Havoc and turned it down. Prodigy knew what was up the whole time with the music industry. He was exposing Illuminati and secret societies, putting the message in his music throughout his entire career, and he was playing both sides, though. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. You cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils. Havoc is officially on the side P was attacking, the side that believes in selfishness and money and everything to do with mean dealing. When Prodigy had to serve that 3 years for that gun case in 08, Havoc said first thing that stood out was the money cut from the shows. He says it wasn't even half. Prodigy was released March 7th in 2011. Just 24 hours later, he released My Infamous Life, the autobiography of Mobb Deep's Prodigy. Now, he's talking about a lot in this book. He's sharing personal issues with his health, his family. He shares stories about a lot of shootings, murders, robberies. He tells which rappers from Queensbridge that snitch and who they ratted on. Havoc came out and dissed P, and they broke up again in 2012 on Separated Real from the Fake video over things P spoken about in the book. The whole video is demonic and pure hate. The video begins with Havoc pulling a pulpit in front of the camera. On the front of it is the number 13. He's also wearing the number 13 on his shirt, on all of his shirts, actually. One interpretation for 13 in Ecclesiasticus Freemasonry tradition, penultimate means last but one in a series of things, second last, which is Havoc, the second last of Mobb Deep that's alive. 13 is also lucky for some and unlucky for others, Prodigy being the latter. P was a great rapper, but he was used to push violence and the gangster rap agenda in hip-hop. Although they both sold out, P had a genuine relationship with the Most High. He was exposing corrupt government, Monsanto, GMO, owl worshiping, spirit cooking. He went to an immersive play based on all of this shit too and recorded it and put it out for people to see. Research the name of his last album, Hegelian Dialectic, the Book of Revelations. It's how the world is run. It's how they control us. And he was about to reveal a massive list of corrupted judges and sexual predators. He was speaking about all of this in all of his interviews. They don't want an actual influential rapper talking about this. Havoc was not exposing conspiracies and giving his testimony about God. P, on the other hand, he exposing the food industry, the banking system, and some more shit. And with Dr. Sebi's diet, he was the most healthiest he's ever lived. Prodigy was receiving checks from the Freemasons, but he was exposing them at the same time. Prodigy knew they was going to try and get rid of him. He just didn't know Hav was going to partake in the act. P and Havoc were on a 360-date tour, but only got 30 dates in. On the 30th date, Havoc and Mobb performed in Las Vegas. Ice-T, Raekwon, and Chef, Ghostface Killer were all there as well. If you look at their last performance in Vegas, Prodigy starts to lose his breath around the 4-minute mark in the video. He couldn't even finish his verse. Prodigy was giving something at that show. I seen it affected his performance. It was literally kicking in on the stage. Prodigy hasn't been sick or hospitalized in 7 years at this time. And all of a sudden, he has to go to the hospital after leaving Havoc and Nori out of all people. And they the ones who put the rumor out P wasn't feeling good as he left the stage and went to his room. But P really went to the hospital. Havoc and Nori said his cause of death was sickle cell. Rickles say he choked on an egg. Choked on an egg is cold talk. It means he had an idea and it died with him. Havoc says the morning he heard P pass, he thought it was a lie and a rumor because his people just spoke to P and they said P is doing good. He was just eating. He was just laughing the night before. He brung him Parmesan chicken. Havoc goes, oh, okay. Well, could you check on him? Because I just heard a rumor. So Havoc somehow is the first person to hear that P is dead. But who told Havoc? And why wouldn't Havoc call P himself if he just heard he died? That's because P was already dead. His peoples that he said just talked to P is their road manager. The elite sent P to their special hospital, and they put something else inside of him that took him out and made up a lie saying it was complications from sickle cell diseases. The day that Prodigy died was the day after Sickle Cell Awareness Day. Yeah, so this is the story behind the fallout between Mobb, both of the breakups, and this is the truth behind the Prodigy murder.